Hello and welcome to episode 36 of Entertainment of Excellence, the podcast where we talk about films, TV, all of it. Hi, I'm Ollie,
I'm Tom.
And I'm Ben.
and today we're talking about the 2014 film Left Behind. This will contain spoilers.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay, hello. We're all going insane because of this immaculate piece of art.
Yeah.
Right, plot summary. This one should technically be an easy plot to do, but on Wikipedia it has like 6 paragraphs. I don't actually read off the Wikipedia plot every time. I realise I just said that. I'm just. Anyway,
I feel like we all need to be drunk for this.
Yes. We
No,
probably
need to
already
take
are.
it seriously. What if this gets as many views as Kangaroo Jack? Need to make it a good one.
It has to be a good one. The plot is people go on plane, people disappear because rapture, people land plane. The end.
Yeah, it's like...
Do you think
what it
that's
says on
right?
Wikipedia?
Yeah, that's the 6 paragraphs.
Oh, right, yeah.
Nice. I like the wording of the third one.
Yeah.
Pretty much, the plot would just be like, there's this woman, and she has a crazy Christian mum, and she's like, wow, she's crazy. And then her dad's, like, not there, but he's a pilot. And
he cheats on his wife with the air hostess.
Yeah, then people disappear, and it's all because, like, the rapture, and they're like, wow, guess the Christians weren't so crazy after all. And they land the plane, and that's it.
Yeah. Basically.
Oh, how do we start?
You know, I feel like there's an interesting concept here, which weirdly is better explored in Avengers Endgame. Because the idea of like people just suddenly going missing is kind of cool. And also there's some interesting stuff to discuss, like there was the Islamic guy who he seemed pretty nice and devoted to his religion, but then he can't go to heaven because like he was wrong. Is that fair? There's like loads of cool things to explore, and what will conversion do, and stuff like that. But instead they're like the funny dwarf man gets kicked onto the inflatable slide. Is that the top quote on IMDb?
Speaking of quotes, I think we need to talk about the dialogue in this.
Oh, man.
The amazing dialogue.
You know how everyone said the prequels had terrible dialogue?
Who's ever said that? I've never heard anyone say that.
Obviously.
It's Shakespearean, Ben.
Yeah. Well, this film is more than Shakespearean. This is Shakespearean squared.
Squared Spearian, if you will. With some... Oh, I've got to get out my notes I made. Well, I had to make notes because I watched this slightly before Ben and Ollie, which is why I'm more insane, because I've had more time to stew on it.
I think you'll find I'm the most insane, given I'm the one that's just recovered from it the most recently.
No, yeah, but because I've been able to stew on it, Ben. I've been trapped in my room, banging my head on the walls, just trying to erase this film's memory.
Philosophical questions raised in the film.
Yeah, and reading all 16 books in the series.
Oh,
Although
yeah.
apparently the series is probably okay. The book series, I mean, I should knock that, but yeah, I mean, I was just like, wow. I was going, Nicolas Cage's Oscar-worthy performance.
I feel bad for
there's
Nicolas
amazing
Cage.
Okay, here we go. Chloe says, I was. He didn't need to do this film. He had money.
I know.
Oh, no, didn't he gamble it all? Wait, I remember there being some like Nicolas Cage. There's like some. He's got a deep backstory.
Like, he's
Not in
trying
this
the
film.
best in this film with like the abysmal script.
Yeah. I
But
mean,
I think he just sort of like gives up. The look on his face, like when he's actually in
He's
the
got some
plane, it's just like,
amazing-
why am I doing this?
Yeah, when he's in the plane and he's crashing, and they like.
and he's going like.
No, wait, when he realizes he can't call his daughter or something, it's like the perfect alignment of like his character genuinely looks upset, except it's not the character, it's the actor.
Shall I? Do you want me to say some of the amazing dialogue?
Oh, please do.
Yeah.
So Chloe says, I can't remember the exact quote, but she says, "I was reading through the thesaurus this morning,
As you do.
and I've decided to call my mum a wacko or something like."
Yeah, because the setup was like, yeah, my mum's crazy Christian lady. It's like,
She's
what?
nutty.
She's nutty. And like,
And then,
he's
she
like-
she was reading through the thesaurus.
oh. It was,
She's a wacko.
I think it was a weird way of
also
flirting
wrote
with the investigative
word.
journalist.
Yeah, I also think that the air hostess, if you remember, is just like randomly laughing, and then she just says, "Oh, I was just thinking about Ray's joke." I didn't even know what the joke.
Wait, then the other one's just like, Ray? Girl, spill the beans. Or whatever.
My favourite line of dialogue. Is
I need
when
the
there's that
deets.
investigative journalist is on the plane, and the old woman goes, "I know you. It's Frank Sinatra."
Okay, but to be fair, I'll give them the interchange between her and her husband was actually quite funny, where she was like,
Yeah.
she obviously had like dementia or something. There's
No,
like
but where did that?
Whoa,
sign-
Wait a minute.
the sign that says taking off, and then she's just like, "Oh, we've landed." Don't worry about him. He
Wait,
gets a
that's
bit
not funny.
confused.
Does that mean that the only funny thing in this was on the plane, and the only funny thing in Kangaroo Jack was also on the plane? Like
No
when
way.
Oh
he
no.
tries to talk to that girl, and he's just like, "Hi." Maybe planes are the
Yeah, but to
point
be
of
fair, on
comedic
Kangaroo
moments
Jack,
in
they
God's
also have
film.
that like awful scene in the bathroom on the plane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, no, but that's not even the funniest part of the film. Because there's the bit with the like crazy conspiracy guy, except he's acted like a straight man, like like just a normal guy, except he just says these insane things. So I started to think that maybe aliens were going to be in this.
Yeah, instead of just
And then
like your
then
typical incel conspiracy
Yeah.
theorist, he was a Chad. Just like, well, maybe.
he starts saying like a theory, and then the dwarf says something like, "Wanna know what I think?" No. And then that's the end of the exchange.
Yeah, well, the dwarf's theory is that like the Muslim man is a terrorist and has like taken all of the children
He's
away.
an alien weapon. He's put on the Infinity Gauntlet.
He like
and
crawls on the
snaps
floor
away.
to
then
look
he
at his
thinks that-
bag, and then just finds a
And then he
toothbrush.
thinks up. Well, then he thinks up the really reasonable explanation that they've just turned invisible rather than disappeared.
Oh yeah, then he's like, doesn't he start like licking the?
Yeah.
Why would you do that to
What?
see
I
if
don't
someone's
know.
there? Also, okay, this is kind of dialogue. I remember when Ray, who is Nicolas Cage, like he finds the envelope of the tickets that he turns over, and Chloe, his daughter, has written on, "Today is the saddest day of my life."
Yeah.
And that just
That's supposed to be like a
completely gets in the way of him
Depressing moment.
I know.
That's completely gets in the way of
Especially as it
him
was meant
like
to
getting
be
with the
her
air
child.
hostess.
It was so funny. And, okay, one more thing about the writing, which I'm counting it as kind of dialogue, is do you remember the woman whose daughter disappears? She like picks up the air marshal's gun. I think it's the air marshal's gun.
Oh
And she
no.
threatens to commit suicide by pointing it at her chest.
Yeah.
I was like, what? Why? That's not what you do.
It wasn't even a chest, it was like a stomach.
Obviously, like that'd be so awkward because you'd just be left like bleeding out for a while. Like, sorry guys, I'll unveil myself soon. Oh, it's so it's amazing. It's art, really.
Yeah.
Oh.
But speaking of the actual Thanos snap itself, like if you compare it to Endgame, Infinity War, where it's like really emotional when like Peter Parker disappears and whatever. But then was I the only one in this when she's speaking to her brother and he just vanishes? I just burst out laughing.
No.
Yeah.
The initial scene where everyone disappeared, that was also one of the funniest moments. Gotta say.
Yeah.
there's
Was it
some,
meant to be emotional? I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't know. The way they did it was just like, bam, and then it's like,
Poof.
oh.
He's gone.
There's so many like stupid moments in this film that, like, I remember. Do you remember when he's like, it depends if the fuel's leaking from here or here, and he pulls out a polystyrene cup and just stabs it with a pen?
And he doesn't explain what it would mean if it was leaking out of either of those spots. Like,
I mean, I kind of put two and two together because if it's leaking from the side, it's not all coming out.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
got that,
And
but
yeah,
like, but the way he did it was just like manic grin on his face. Depends if it's leaking from here or here.
I've in our group chat, I've just put so many moments on the film that I was like, what is going on?
Yeah.
There's at one point an extra like runs out of a crowd, just like, I don't know. It's just the way they walk is so funny, which is just above a clip I posted of me watching this movie where it's one of the characters on the chair going like, "Ooh!" I can't remember what bit that is. Like, just crazy.
but I don't understand. Like, there's instances of if you're like confined to just an aeroplane, you can actually, well, for instance, airplanes able to like do that with great comedy effect. And then I remember there's one episode of Doctor Who where like it's all set on one plane and it's like really tense and claustrophobic. But
Yeah.
well, I
And
actually felt like
I've seen a thriller as well. I can't remember its name, but that was set all on a plane. It's like Liam Neeson, and that was good. So it could
Yeah,
definitely work.
I do actually feel like the scenes on the plane comparatively the best part of this film, I thought. But like even like the tense moments sat on the plane, they just cut back to like the uh stupid plot going on back on Earth, and it was just
It was so annoying that like, well, I've forgotten her name already. The woman. She's just like,
Which one, Chloe?
yeah, that's the one. Is like looking everywhere for the Raimi. That's it. She's looking everywhere for him, and it's like, yeah, we get the point. Like she's disappeared, and she like wants to know if he ran off somewhere. Cool. You don't have to keep cutting back to it.
yeah.
Like, and to a degree, some of it wasn't terrible because, like, okay, it's nice to actually see the aftermath of people disappearing, which was kind of glossed over a bit in like Avengers Infinity War and Endgame and stuff. Like you got some backstory, but the majority you didn't actually actively see the aftermath. But then just like, oh, I don't know. I just
Yeah.
But like, even like when they at the end when they managed to uh, land the plane, it's like, well, now what? And I felt like from all the posters and stuff, it all has like this really post-apocalyptic setting and like fire and like the end of the world, and that was only like really shown in like the last minute, and it was almost as if it was trying to set up a sequel,
I
which
know.
I
Well,
guess
Ollie,
like
on
maybe if
that
it's based on
note,
the book.
in 2017, I think the director Lalonde purchased the rights to all 16 books of the series, and there is a 6 to 8 film series planned.
Oh, you are joking.
In
What?
2019, he stated in a Q&A that a script was in the works and he had been contacted about possible future filming dates, but nothing has been set in stone.
Oh,
So-
Why?
No, okay, but the
you
thing
have
is,
to be joking.
I have looked at the summary of the books, right? And it must have been well, like it must have sold well if there were 16 books. And it's kind of got like a cool. It sounds like it's a like two rival factions. Where one of them is supposed to be like the New World Order and led by the Antichrist, and the other is some like resistance group of Christian converts, I think. And having like a post-apocalyptic faction war sounds pretty cool. But
It
this
also
film, they're
sounds
like,
nothing like this film.
yeah, this film's like, it's just another like plane disaster film. We have to land the plane
It's
safely.
like Airplane, but
in
with
the
no
background-
comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically. And it's just, I don't know why did they? It's it just, I don't know. I mean, the acting's not exactly great.
Yeah, like
No.
the best is like Nicolas Cage, and even he's just like given up.
Is he the best? Really?
Actually, to be fair, no, I'd say like maybe Cameron, the journalist, but even he's questionable.
No,
Just like-
there's a bit the scene where he's like going through the plane, filming all those people. You know, that felt like, oh, that was terrible.
Hello, guys.
I
Welcome
don't
back
know.
to Cameron Vlogs. Today we're on an airplane.
I actually wrote journalist scene is and then ill emoji, puking emoji in terms of script and acting. That's my notes.
See, whenever he keeps on saying just for plot convenience, I'm an investigative journalist, it just it gives me
Yeah.
vibes of similar films that like you know, and they'll just keep saying stuff
Yeah.
for convenience that it doesn't really make sense.
I know, and then they could have like actually done useful stuff with like random scenes. Like, do you remember the breakdance scene
I do.
with people clapping out of time?
I do.
Why was that there? Who knows?
Why not?
And then afterwards,
It's
I've
probably-
written rapture scene as peak comedy. So Ollie, it's not just you that found that funny. And it also took ages to build up to that. Like the first half an hour, it feels like nothing.
Oh,
happened.
I mean,
Oh,
you know
God.
what that reminds me
That
of?
was my least favorite part.
You know what it reminds me
What?
of?
First,
Birdemic.
What?
Yeah,
what?
but
Yeah.
oh yeah, that takes ages as well.
It's exactly halfway in
At least
Birdemic.
Birdemic, they actually go other places. It's all set in like the airport, and it's just nothing.
The first
Yeah.
bit of the movie is
Those
pretty
scenes are
much.
reliant on the dialogue, and if you're reliant on the dialogue in this film, then you know it's going to be dire.
The first part of the film is pretty much like character driven with like oversimplified. Well, no, not oversimplified. This is exactly what it is. It's just this woman has daddy issues, and that's the first part of the plot. It's like,
Yeah.
wow, okay, my dad is being a jerk. He's not turning up. Wow, that's him looking at
Yeah.
a hot air hostess.
And there's so many plot issues as well, like because she goes to see her dad at the airport, which he doesn't know about, and then when he leaves, he gives her the car keys and says, "Car's in the usual place." So, did he know that she was going to be? I don't understand. How would
Are
she
we
have
meant
got
to
back?
be invested in this relationship as well between
Yeah.
Chloe
Yeah,
and the
it's
journalist?
one
That's literally-
thing-
They've met like 5 minutes.
It's one thing if you've got like the first part of a film that's character driven and based around relationships between people. That's fine as long as you care about the characters. I could not give
Yeah.
Yeah.
less of like anything about these characters. I'm just
It, I
They're not
mean,
even caricatures, because like if they were caricatures, at least you could laugh at like them uh being all over the top about stuff. It was just like a bland woman whose dad's like your stereotypical pilot who's with an air hostess. Wow.
yeah, and I think that the problem is with the characters is that like you're not really scared for them because like Chloe, she hates her dad and I guess her mum, and the only person she likes is her brother, who then vanishes. So she's got nothing left to lose, really. It's like, well, who cares what happens? Like, I don't really care. They basically set almost everyone on the plane to be a terrible person.
Yeah,
Apart from
actually,
like two of them.
there was a the problem with that is I could have really enjoyed if that was done well, because if once you found out it's the rapture and all of the good people have been scooped up into heaven, then what is?
But it's not all the good people though, because they show that there's like some good people left.
Yeah, but it's
And
it's what
you have
it's
to
what.
be like,
But that's the thing that could have been done really well. Like, what do these
yeah.
good people done? Like, I don't know, like the investigative journalist didn't seem like a bad person, but maybe he like contributed to the wrongful imprisonment of someone. I don't know, or he cheated on his girlfriend or something. And
Well, yeah, because I was thinking like, what would have been an interesting thing to explore is that because there's obviously some good people left. Like, it feels like the only thing they did wrong was that they like weren't Christian, and it could have been an interesting thing. Like, is that morally right?
yeah,
It could have been a cool thing.
especially with like the Muslim man and the
Yeah.
atheist people, like that could have been good, but they just
Instead, they're like, this dwarf gambles. This
well,
woman does drugs, which I guess is bad.
this man
Uh,
doesn't spend any time with his daughters because he only cares about money.
this man is a policeman, so of course he goes to heaven. But then there's like surprisingly a good number of ambulance drivers and like workers left around, if you remember.
All kids
Like,
ever are good.
Yeah.
I guess they have to do that.
Yeah.
Because it's supposed to be like all children are innocent. I wonder what the cutoff point counts though, because surely it's like biblical cutoff point.
Exactly like
Do you
13.
think as soon as you hit 14, that's it?
Yeah. Someone just turns like 14, and then the day later, like, just doesn't get scooped up into heaven. I'm gonna keep saying
Yeah.
scooped up. I feel like that's pretty apt.
What did you think of the tense scene where the planes are gonna crash together, and then you find out that there's no pilots in the other plane?
Okay, my problem was another problem with it is that from like all the marketing stuff, everyone knows this is the Rapture. It's so obvious, and it takes them infuriatingly long to figure out that it is, and it's just so annoying. Like you're like, just work it out. It's not like a twist.
Yeah.
We all knew.
Also, can I just say that like Chloe's problem with her mum is like it seemed to be that like she was really pushy and shoving all of religion down her throats, which like yeah is a problem. But like when they introduced her mum, she didn't seem that bad. Like
Yeah.
I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure she said something along the lines of like, "I don't want to force you to believe this" or whatever. I'm just like, whoa, chill, okay. What's the problem? I don't understand. You know?
I have no idea like who it was trying to make look the good guy, because it felt like a lot of the times they showed Chloe like in the right. And do you know, it showed Chloe in the right, but then it's like, well, actually, her mother was right. So it just confused me. I don't know if that makes sense.
Hmm.
Who is the good guy?
Yeah, because at
Something that
times it
confused
seemed
me was
yeah, like at times it seemed you
Go
were
on.
going to be rooting for the dad, but then it's made it abundantly clear at the start of the film that he's a terrible person. He's not spending any time with his daughters. He's cheated on his wife. He's
Yeah.
lies to everyone. But like you're supposed to be rooting for him. I don't understand who
Yeah.
was meant to be the good, or even if they were all meant
Yeah.
to be bad.
Something that confused me though was the inconsistencies with the planes used. I can't believe it.
The
Were
start
you
it was an
annoyed about all
Airbus,
this?
and then they
A300
cycled
at the
through
gate,
just
but
about
then
every different.
keeps on changing.
At the start it was an Airbus, but
Yeah.
throughout the course of the film, they cycled through just about every different Boeing model possible. Like, honestly, get your planes right, dudes.
I know.
What did you think of
went-
the amazing
And they
special
went from the
effects?
767
Ugh.
all the way down to the 717. Like, why would it go down in quality?
There was this
Uh,
particular scene where Chloe's out in like a parking, as the Americans would say, a parking lot. But then this plane comes and crashes into her car. I'm like, oh, that was terrible. That special
And
effect.
just even the general like special effects, like the shot of Nicolas Cage like piloting the plane during that tense scene. It looks rubbish,
Yeah.
and when they land as well, it's terrible. And not only is it the special effects that are sloppy, like I found a frame that seems to have the like scenes video file overlaid on it. You can't quite see everything. I don't know if Ben could put this up with editing magic. It depends how much he can be bothered.
Yeah, I'll have a
But
look.
it's like it's got some kind of a number underscore V003 underscore Matt, and then there's something else, and then there's the dates like and then window. And it like what I can't think of anything it could be other than like the scenes file. How did that get in? I don't understand.
That looks like Rick Astley, the guy in the picture.
You have sent so
It
many
does.
pictures to our group chat. Can't go to heaven if drug.
First one.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I found it.
Yeah.
How did you spot that?
It flashed up on the screen, and I was like, "What was that?" And I skipped back, and then tried to pause it on, and it made. And I saw it. But I mean, come on, that's
Hit it!
Maybe it's the creative vision.
the creative vision, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I can actually look at some special effects now with Nicolas Cage's face, like the classic Nicolas Cage face. Really, top like Oscar-worthy acting. In
There you go. I put it on the screen. It's. Oh, what is going on? I don't understand.
Whoa.
That should not have got in. I mean, I guess it. What I don't understand is. Oh wait, I'm trying to find the guy that is. Paul Hollande has the writing credit. Okay, because it feels like the editing and like directing, no one cares. I mean, the writing isn't exactly great either. But what's going on? And also, okay, another. I guess this is a technical thing. The music annoyed me so much.
Oh yeah, same.
It was like stock film music, but it never stopped. There was always
Exactly.
music happening.
Yeah.
And it felt like emotional manipulation. It was like
It felt like you're in the
it was
TV
like something
audience for
couldn't
like.
make you feel sad. Yeah. So it tried to make you feel sad, except the thing that's trying to do it is also terrible.
It's like when you're in the
the music
TV
is
audience
just-
for like a show and it has people holding up signs saying "laugh," "boo."
Yeah.
But except the signs, like it's got really, really small font and it's really far away.
Yeah.
So it's just
It
there.
took
And you're like,
itself-
oh, go away! So annoying.
It took itself way too seriously though, because like some scenes it could have, it like wasn't funny enough to be comedic, but like some scenes it were unintentionally comedic. So the tone was just really weird at parts.
Yeah, and it just annoys me that it's not the most interesting part of like the Rapture. They could have picked cool things. I don't know. I feel like the plane thing is such like a tiny, confined thing, which I suppose could work like
If you
in a
focus
similar vein
just
to
on
like
that,
Night of the Living Dead. Like they're just it's just a tiny group of people in one house, but there's still a
that's
massive
cool.
zombie
That's why I
apocalypse.
think it would
But
have been improved if it was just focusing on that, and then maybe if like because of that the film was a bit shorter because it did seem to be. I thought it would only be like an hour and a half, but it was getting on for 2 hours. And if they'd have just made their mind up on what they wanted to show, rather than trying to
yeah,
combine these two uh, plot points, that they didn't develop either of them, and then therefore both of them suffered
Hmm.
as a result. So I feel like if they should have just focused on one of them, and out of the two, definitely the one on the plane, because that just seemed to be the
yeah,
most
and
interesting.
it's just I think also I don't even know if I like the plane thing though, because it's just not an interesting like apocalyptic scenario for being trapped on a plane. Because some people disappearing doesn't really like make the plane flight dangerous. It all
No,
feels like tacked on artificial conflict, whereas like the as I said, the stuff that's in the books, like these two warring factions, could be quite cool.
Yeah, the only danger
well,
that
I
actually
think
came
they
to them
guess you
in the
just gotta
plane
wait.
was the result of them knocking into the other plane when the
It's like
pilots
6 to 8
disappeared.
film
how many
run.
films that are gonna. Yeah,
Yeah, it's so annoying. In fact, also it looks like there was another film adaptation which is also supposed to be terrible, also called Left Behind, and that does actually have it says that the reporter learns that Antichrist will soon take power, and it doesn't look like it's all set on a plane. I mean, because I think I like plane thriller stuff. I mean, maybe I've not seen Snakes on a Plane. Maybe that's when it became oversaturated. But I don't know. I think it's the wrong disaster for being
yeah.
trapped on a plane.
Yeah, because if
It's
it
like
was
the
like
only
being,
real tension was like how are they gonna land it. Like
yeah,
it,
I if it was like being
that's
trapped in
just
the plane in the middle of like a nuclear apocalypse or like a war going on the ground, then like sure, but like just people have disappeared. That's it.
that's not really
Yeah,
affected much by
it
people
is annoying.
disappearing.
Yeah, just bad. Uh,
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm trying to. It looks like there's a ton of Left Behind films that I didn't even know about. Like from the original one, it at least goes up to a Left Behind 3. And then there was something in 2016 called Left Behind Vanished the Next Generation. Like,
And then there's something called Left Behind Doppelganger.
but how are there so many like films from the fact that there's so many films from this like terrible one? It makes me think maybe the books are actually good. So it
Yeah,
kind of sucks that this is terrible. Do you think they just had like some plain visual effects team that they'd bought and they're like, oh, we gotta do something?
maybe.
probably. I mean, no one in this really seemed invested in the story, or well, a couple of people did, but definitely not Nicolas Cage. He just seemed like bored, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh
Uh,
man,
What a film!
I was about to say the exact same thing.
top notch.
What a film.
What a film! What a
See,
film!
okay, I feel like this has completed the trilogy because oh wait, no, I'm getting confused. Never mind. I'll talk more about this later.
Okay. Oh,
This
Ooh,
actually relates to a
interesting.
later
foreshadowing.
segment, which I momentarily got confused with this.
This is
All right.
Oh, I'm trying to think of anything
Uh,
else I could say that I haven't just said already. I mean, let's think of any
yeah.
good points, I guess. Like,
No.
it was in color, it was in HD,
Yeah.
it was on
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Netflix.
It's on Netflix, free
Yeah,
if you've got Netflix.
it is.
So therefore not free.
You
For
know,
less than 81p.
there's some amazing things like the alien subplot with that guy. There's the fact that the
Yeah.
writers didn't have Chloe having any self-awareness around her mother. I mean, what? That scene was ridiculous when she was like, "You're not the only one who believes the apocalypse is coming." And she's like, "Oh, really?" It's like, "Yeah, there was this crazy lady at the airport."
Oh man.
It's wacko.
Yeah, yeah. There was this. Oh, I read the thesaurus earlier. I can't remember the word.
Yeah,
Wacko.
and there was also the amazing thing about the passengers wanting to get into the cockpit, even though that makes zero sense.
Yeah, to
Why
talk
did
to
they
the
want
captain. Why didn't
Yeah,
they just tell the captain to
what
come
exactly
out?
did they want once they got in? Yeah.
And then when
What do you think of one of the top user reviews of the film being this film made me an atheist?
Yeah.
Damn. Oh, okay. Let's say this film was a comedy. The backpack stealing scene, that was hilarious. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah.
Chloe's just walking along and then these people
Oh,
on, like,
yeah.
isn't it bicycles as well?
But to
The
be fair,
vehicle of absolute ruffians come along.
to be fair, I found that really funny because of like her awful reaction to it. She was like, "No, that's rabies.
My brother's bag.
That was my
backpack
brother's."
That has my
What they hear?
maths
Oh, it's your brother's.
textbooks
I'll give it
in.
back then. No, that had my copy of the thesaurus in.
No, that has my dad's car keys in.
Those wackos. Also, why do people just instantly start looting? Well, I mean, I don't know if it's quite difficult to tell if that would be realistic, but surely people would be like, "What?" But instead, they're like, "Oh, my parents disappeared. Time to go nick a TV."
Yeah. I didn't actually mind that much because I guess they were like meant to be the bad people, and I quite like that they were trying to like capitalize on this mayhem. But
Yeah,
I mean,
but again,
how realistic
it's obviously
it is
still not the bad
debatable.
people because there were good people left, but they
Yeah,
just like weren't
left behind.
Christian. But whatever. At least it made a profit, possibly, with a $16 million budget and a worldwide gross of 27 million. Although I've heard that films like you have to double anything's budget because of what they spend on marketing. So who
True.
knows? Maybe it lost.
Do you agree that the the posters and the marketing isn't really a very good representation of the actual film itself? Because it's like trying to set up this universe sort of thing, but it's
Yeah,
not
it
really
says like the
fulfilled
end
in this film
begins.
alone. Yeah,
Yeah. Like it feels like a terrible prequel that got made, like a really small prequel that
yeah,
no one wanted. It's like the opposite of Rogue One,
yeah.
where it's like we didn't really need this prequel, but it was pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that should go on the poster. The opposite of Rogue One.
Yeah, it should. Now I'm just excited to see like a load of other terrible Nicolas Cage films.
Yeah.
What do you think? With his
Sounds good.
amazing
Well,
acting skills.
I mean, compared to some of the other stuff we've done at the bottom of our list, I think there were some parts which I found enjoyable or like a little bit tense or a little bit like as I said we were saying that like it's not necessarily the best type of apocalypse to be set on a plane, but I think there were definitely aspects of that, even not necessarily in this film but just in general in regards to the genre that are quite interesting, just like the premise of it,
Yeah.
Yeah, there were
but they
bits I
didn't
didn't
necessarily
zone
handle
out
very
on.
well.
No. Well, that's good.
I'm exhausted.
How long have we been talking about this?
42 minutes.
Really? That's actually
What?
flown by. That's like way
To be
faster than the
fair,
start
no,
of
it
this film.
isn't. It's 40 minutes because of the false start.
Oh, what
Still.
false start, Ben? What are you on about?
False start? I didn't say anything about that. Anyway,
Oh, okay,
let's
good.
give it a
Just
rating
checking, just checking.
right now.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've got it. Plug the website, Ben. Go on.
You can follow along with this if you go to entertainmentofexcellence.weebly.com. You could go to the Hall of Fame section, which shows you the top 3 movies in each genre, and obviously also the worst 3 movies ever at the very bottom, which are currently Kangaroo Jack, Slender Man, and Robot Monster. There's a link to all of the stuff we've ever rated in order. All 34 of them, because it will be updated by the time this episode comes out. So, what are we thinking? I'm gonna start off by just saying Birdemic was at
I'm
least
just looking
fun.
around like. I'm just looking around like Room and being John Malkovich and trying to. Okay, I think better than Slender Man, worse than Mile 22.
Yeah,
I think you can. I think out of the ones we've done, it's probably most similar to Mile 22, but
Mile
it's gonna be
22
on
is
the
better.
Robot Monster
but-
still links to the Social Network.
Oh.
I clicked on. And I was
Speaking
like,
of social network, I've seen so many
Um,
people like doing lists of like their favorite films or like ranking the David Fincher films, and it's like always at the top or like really high up. Like,
Why?
am I missing something?
It
I
was
liked
not
it,
that
but
good.
it's not like amazing.
No, I think it's similar to. I found it similar to A Beautiful Mind, which I thought was good, but I think it just depends.
Yeah.
I just didn't see anything special about it. I thought it was
Okay.
alright, but
No.
Yeah,
anyway, we're off topic.
whatever. Now after that random deviation, okay. So Robot Monster, I'm trying to decide if it was worse or better than Robot Monster. And to be
See,
honest, at points I did find it like quite boring.
Yeah.
Like this.
Robot
And
Monster left an
Robot Monster at
impression
least
for
always
me.
has like a silly thing running around.
Yeah, you can at least laugh at like the stupid like marriage scene, or like the robot
Yeah.
monster talking to the people on the planet Roman. But like, I'm gonna
What
go.
annoyed me about this was that Robot Monster didn't really take itself too seriously. It
Yeah,
knew
that's
what
true.
it was going to be
Yeah.
seen as. Whereas this, it was like, well, I guess like Mile 22, it was trying to be like this really. Oh, I don't know. It just
Yeah, I'm gonna
didn't
kick it
work the
off.
way
I'm gonna
was.
give it a 3. I'm giving it a 3.
No,
Respectable.
solid
3 Michelin stars.
I'm going to go 3 as well. 3.0.
Wow. To 2 significant figures.
What did I give Robot Monster? Oh no, I can't.
You gave it a 4.2.
4.2.
Yeah.
I'll go 3.2 for this then.
Just to be, this is exactly the same as what happened in Robot Monster. Me and Ben gave that a 4.0, and you gave it a 4.2, so it's just -1.
3.1. Nice.
Yeah.
It's our first ever 3.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well,
Well done. It's now taken its place as the 3rd worst movie.
whoa.
Robot Monster is no longer.
Oh, this
The
is so
3rd
sad.
worst.
No, Custard Kong's gonna be disappointed. Maybe we need to do one of his other recommendations in the near future.
Well, they stole
Oh,
Hitler's
yeah.
brain.
Yeah.
Okay, so next up, going off the back of Left Behind, we have a submission for our submission spotlight section. Okay,
Whoa.
so this is a section where if you're a creator and you've created a movie, TV show, any music, something you've written, a story, that kind of stuff, and you want us to review it, say us a little bit about it, and if you want to come on the podcast to talk about it, then we'd love to have you on. We got contacted by Sarah. Oh, I've forgotten her name now already. I'm sorry. I'm too like overpowered by the brilliance of Left Behind.
Exhausted after watching that.
Yeah. So anyway, cut to the chase. It's called Chrome. It's an ongoing like series, but like its first episode was released earlier in 2020, and the next one's coming out the 1st of January 2021. So it is, well, it describes itself as a world overpopulated with trillions fighting over food, water, and medicine, cruelly uses a vast force of robot slaves until they call her Chrome. So, we watched the pilot.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely got a very interesting and engaging idea behind it, and um, I feel like it could have maybe had a little more exposition, like just sort of setting up this world. But I think in terms of like the aesthetics and the look of the world, it's very well. It's quite derivative of other um sort of things in the cyberpunk genre, but I think it definitely does have that quite a unique look, and I think it did a very good job with the budget it had to sort of like create that world building.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a massive fan of like cyberpunk genre, so I love anything with that like grimy and then like cybernetic enhancement stuff.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah,
it is cool.
So, yeah. So it follows this robot, called Chrome, who is sort of a vigilante, I guess, who's fighting against the oppressors. Um, I'll be completely honest, I didn't really understand the plot, and I couldn't really follow it because it was just so fast paced. And, maybe to a degree that was like trying to make the most of a budget that's like not incredibly high, and obviously with like a style that's similar to that of like Blade Runner, you're gonna need a lot of special effects, and a lot of your budget's going to be used on that. So maybe it was just trying to cram a lot into a very short period of time. It was 31 minutes. Um,
Yeah,
but there was just so
I mean, I
much
do
going on.
admire them for like um you know trying to create this series, because it's not necessarily like a go-to thing you do with a low budget. So um
It's
I
quite,
mean, in
yeah.
terms of what
yeah,
they had,
and they did a lot
um
of stuff with like miniatures and all sorts.
yeah,
And like they obviously were definitely using a style, because I noticed that a lot of the scenes are very dark and and there's like this sort of grain overlay to sort of mimic being shot on film. So I kind of like that. Um, but then it is the flip side of that is it is the special effects aren't studio quality. They aren't amazing, and given there's a lot of them, like the individual quality of each one kind of suffers. And that's not necessarily the fault of the creator or the production studio, because it's not an incredibly high budget. Um, and I'm assuming it was a passion project. It definitely looked like it was, and I'm glad that the creator felt that they could get this out there. But yeah, it isn't like don't go in expecting blockbuster quality, because that does take a lot of money, and this just didn't have that. It had a budget of around $8 million apparently. I can't find any like reputable sources backing that up, so it could have been
I mean,
maybe
I
less.
guess we don't know like if that means like the whole show, and like it's saying
Hmm.
it's rumored there's going to be a new one coming out soon, so maybe
Yeah, it's
So it'll be like an
confirmed.
ongoing thing.
Um,
Yeah. So I would quite like to see more of this.
yeah. So I'll give a couple of criticisms that are like constructive rather than just ragging on it, because like obviously this wasn't like the greatest thing I've ever seen, but given we've just watched Left Behind, I'd take anything at this point. So
Yeah.
some constructive criticisms. First off, I'd say try and slow down. There was a lot of plot going on at once. And especially in more action-packed scenes, there were just a load of cuts. There were parts where it was almost one cut consistently, like every second on average. Um, Only cut if it's going to help the scene, if it's revealing new information or offering a new perspective, rather than just someone's diving down into a corner and you're getting three angles of it in 1 second. That's just hard to follow. Um, so there's that. Also, the plot, obviously, maybe, you know, I assume the second episode's already gone into production, but if it's coming
Yeah,
out
I think
soon.
the plot's fine because it's. I quite like the idea of the like robots having a human injury inhibitor, and then
Yeah,
having like a savior type figure.
I was just.
I think it's the
Yeah.
plot's fine, but it's just it's just the pacing that needs work, and like spending more time with scenes and even just shots like lingering on certain things a bit longer.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, the plot itself isn't bad. It's just there's so much going on at once that maybe it would be worth cutting out some of it to just really enhance the stuff that's there, give it more time to develop, and so people can like understand what's going on better. Um, and like yeah, as Tom said, maybe some shots that like to break things up so it's not consistently action. So maybe some landscape shots if you really want to highlight the fact it's set in this futuristic cyberpunk world. Um, I don't know, some shots of people walking. Um, and then
Because some of the like dialogue scenes when it wasn't necessarily reliant on like loads of cuts and loads of fast-paced action, I think definitely worked a lot better because you
mm,
sort of were able to get a perspective of what was going on. But I think like that energetic style is definitely something that some people would enjoy. It's just not necessarily for us, I guess.
yeah, no, definitely. And then I guess just obviously this wouldn't work if it didn't suit the story, but if the some other episodes are still in writing, maybe work on some parts that don't require as heavy special effects, like just a couple of robots, for example, rather than like um focusing completely on like chase scenes with all of this landscape, because then maybe you can the budget could be better used to like enhance the scenes that are there. Just my
Mm.
thoughts.
And I think that there was like a tiny snippet of like synthwave music that was really cool in the soundtrack, and I think if all of the music was that kind of style, it would feel a lot more coherent.
Yeah, I'd say there
Yeah.
are a lot of artists in the sort of like synthwave or ambient genres that are new and would love to have their music included in like films and TV shows. Maybe looking around for a couple of tracks from them would be good, because rather than just using stock libraries, because part of what made groundbreaking films like Tron and Blade Runner so good was their like unique use of soundtrack to complement the visual aesthetic. So uh, that's just another thing to think about. Um,
Yeah.
but otherwise, I feel like this could definitely be quite good if there was like how do I've forgotten what I'm saying now. I can see potential from this. Like it's not perfect at the moment. Pilots usually aren't. So I'd maybe like watch a couple more episodes whenever they come out and see how it's going. I'd obviously recommend that listeners do the same.
Yeah.
So yeah, and it's not on Amazon Prime UK. I think it is in the US. We watched it on Vimeo on demand, which is like £2 44 to rent. So like that's not a huge amount. And most of that will go back to the creators. So I'd recommend you do that. So
Yeah. And thanks for contacting us, because at least, I mean, we've had a bit of a dry spell in terms of submission spotlight, but it's good to get another one.
yeah,
Some
it was
fan engagement.
Susan Goforth. I don't know how to pronounce it, but she was one of the actresses and the co-creator of it who replied to us on Twitter. So thank you, Susan, for recommending that. Cool. We are almost at an hour, so do you think we should just skip recommendations this week? Given
I don't really actually have any for once.
Well, join the club.
I mean, we are pre-recording this, so it hasn't been too long since our last one.
Yeah. Well, so we shall just leave it at there. This is coming out on Saturday. No, Sunday.
Sunday.
Yeah, I can't count. So hopefully by the time you're listening to this, you'll have had a good Christmas. Obviously with stuff that's going on at the moment, it's not ideal, but hopefully you had a groovy time. And hopefully, given this is the last episode of Entertainment of Excellence of 2020, I hope you have a great new year as well. Thanks to anyone who's been listening this year, because this was the year we decided to reboot it from the ashes, have Tom on as a permanent special guest, and we've gone from 4 episodes to 35 episodes. 36 episodes, sorry. Again, I can't count. Yeah, thank you very much for everyone who's...
Rapidly approaching episode 50.
Yeah.
Might be another bone special episode, like our 25th.
Yeah, so a couple of reminders. If we get to 10 likes on Kangaroo Jack episode, which is now at 410 views, we're going to be forcing Tom to watch Kangaroo Jack Good Day USA. If we get to 50 subscribers or 50 listeners on podcast platforms, we're going to be doing Blade Runner 2049, which is one of the lost episodes. And if we get to 100 subscribers, then we're going to be reviewing some films that Ollie and I made when we were a lot younger. So by younger we mean 10 and similar quality to Birdemic. So please do subscribe and slap that notification bell if you want to be notified and stuff.
Yeah. And stuff.
Go to our website, entertainmentofexcellence.weebly.com, or follow us on social media. Twitter and Instagram is at EOV Podcast. Hoping to be a bit more active on those in the new year. There's also the mailing list, which I've kind of neglected, but it is there. You can get access to some groovy stuff like the recommendations master list, with links to buy everything that we've recommended. And also the schedule, so you can see which episodes we'll be doing in the future.
Well, speaking of which, say what we're doing next week in 2021. It'll be Adaptation, another Charlie Kaufman film,
and Nicolas Cage.
Damn.
Yeah.
We should start like trying to make a link between like the current episode and the next week's one.
That's gonna be hard.
I mean, not necessarily. Now I'm thinking
I guess
back.
The 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon or what?
Yeah, and like I'm just thinking like randomly of 2 episodes, like 11 and 12 both had John Malkovich in, being John Malkovich in Mile 22.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I forgot John Malkovich was in Mile 22.
Yeah, so thank you all for listening. See you in the new year. Alright, see ya.
All right. See ya.
See ya.